Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We'll see you at Science on Tap this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Use promo code TomandDan50 for $10 off your tickets. OSC.org for all your tickets.
It's going to be awesome. Science demonstrations, food trucks, all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah, I think Crystal's bringing the boys out to the Science Center that day just to enjoy the day at
There's
the
a lot of new
Center.
stuff in there, too. If they haven't been in a minute, like they're always turning it over.
Yeah,
There's always something new in there. Our buddy Kenny Samsel's here
Hey-o.
from the Two Moves podcast. What's up, buddy? I got a song for you. Here we go.
He's the talk of the town. He's just going around like he wears a crown, yeah. But don't be fooled by his fancy smile. Cause Kenny's got a secret that'll make you proud. Kenny the Mayor of Pervert Town, yeah. He's always creeping when the sun goes down, yeah. Kenny the Mayor of Pervert Town.
Pick it up, pick it up.
He's gotta go, gotta shut it down.
No,
There's
right.
a scream at the end. You hear the scream? At the-
That's the AI dragon learning to live. It is soon going to kill us all.
Dragon at the end. You're the Mayor of Pervert Town. And then at the end, I made that one. I sat there, I swear to God, I've been waiting to play that for like 2 weeks. I made that way long time ago, but I've been playing it but just because of the scream. Hold on, one more time at the end.
Yeah.
It's the Mayor of Pervert Town, and it's ska. We did ska for Mayor of Pervert Town.
There's a man named Kenny, he's the talk of the town.
Pick it up, pick it up.
He's just going around like he wears a crown, yeah. But don't be fooled by his fancy smile. Cause Kenny's got a secret that'll make you proud. Kenny the Mayor of Pervert Town, yeah. He's always creeping when the sun goes down, yeah. Kenny the Mayor of Pervert Town, no, no. He's gotta go, gotta shut it down.
I wonder if AI is
Yeah.
getting
There's
fed
a
up
mo-
with all the with all the inputs. It's like, oh, I'm going to turn
You know what you're-
myself
what
into a dragon
what you're hearing.
and kill them all.
Yeah, what you're hearing is a giant information monster that's chained to a wall.
Yeah.
And it's going to pull itself off the chains and just start killing us.
It's like when the hand comes from the core of the earth and just like
Yes.
swallows us
Yeah,
whole.
this is not
Yeah.
good. There are subtle cues in all of these that you should listen for, and it's just not good.
All the ignorant stuff we've put in there
Yeah.
and the world has put in this AI
Yeah,
program and it's getting fed up and it is it's feeding off the hate.
Yeah, I can't tell a lie. ChatGPT, I almost got a life ban yesterday for replacing the faces on you and I when we were pumping each other good. and ChatGPT said one more, and we will no longer even take your money.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
doesn't like that?
Yeah, it does. No. I took a picture of two gentlemen enjoying an afternoon, having a fun time, and one behind the other, and they're, let's just say they're
Boofing?
they're boofing and they're in it.
Yeah.
And I just replaced our faces on it. It said, "Excuse me, hold up. I have detected adult content, and that is against our terms of service, sir. So
Oh, you're building the monster.
I thought you were.
I am part of the problem."
I thought you were saying it's like we're gonna give you one more. You get one more of these, and,
Yeah,
then we'll do it.
No. It didn't do it, but it did say if I attempt to do that again, it gives you two options. It says if you do it again, then it can, it can eliminate your account, or I can appeal and say like, hey, wait a minute.
This is
This
hard.
isn't fair.
Yeah, what's wrong with this? Yeah, technically, you're the one that's...
You're homophobic, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
This is art.
Yeah. There's nothing
Just two
wrong.
men that love each other.
So what you're telling me is you can essentially get away with one. You get one.
Hold on.
And then you can.
Well,
If it was a man and a woman, would they still have a problem with it?
Yes, because it's adult content.
Oh,
I tried.
okay.
You know me. I'm perverted. I tried. Like if he's the mayor of Pervert Town, I'm at least the attorney general or like whatever, city manager.
Yeah, no, you're the ambassador. You're the ambassador that gets to come in. It's like Lethal Weapon 3. There's no rules apply to you.
I like that. I'm like the president of the Arena Football League. I don't exist.
Whatever happened to the Predators?
Oh, they're still. I thought they're back.
Yeah, they're still
back.
doing it.
They're
right?
back, baby.
Yeah, they are.
They're absolutely back. You should know that. Don't they play in your
Yeah, at the arena still.
What happened with the Guardians?
The Fardians are done.
Yeah.
They're done?
Yeah,
Well,
when,
because they
I
merged.
swore this one would last.
I was telling you this. This was
Yeah.
the merger,
No, I
right?
know.
Yeah,
when they
this is-
merged, Orlando was not one of the markets that they decided to keep.
Yeah, it sucks because I thought we were actually doing pretty good.
Man, I'm mad that I sat in the heat for nothing. Because I took my sons.
You're like, this is the future, boys. One day you'll be playing for the Fardians.
And I'm like, and then I was telling my sons, like, one day The Rock will be here, and the stadium
and
will
he'll be my
full.
best friend. We'll be grilling hot dogs with The Rock, not Busdecker. You'll see.
And we sat in the heat. We didn't stay the whole game.
Yeah.
We left at
You couldn't
halftime.
say the whole game.
But it roasted our faces,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "This will be worth it one day when we get that Rock money."
Yeah, you still
And
got
then
your
quit.
T-shirts? You still got your shirts?
Yeah, the
Oh, yeah.
free shirts that I tossed you that your kids could care
Yeah,
less
who has
about.
all the gear? Do you guys
Couldn't
keep your
care.
Fardians gear? That's going to be, what is my dad used to say, all of that stuff. It'll be your ticket to paradise one day.
All right, Kenny, how's it going?
I'm doing good. We were talking. This is my first appearance in the new year.
Happy New Year. I noticed that you're still gay. I'm joking. I'm messing around. It's a comedy show. We're having a good. We're just a couple of guys just laughing. We're the laughing boys.
So I went to Puerto Rico for Christmas, and I was
That's
out on,
what Sam wanted to do.
Yeah, I was out on the western side of the island, which was nice because it's still, populous city, but it's not San Juan overly populous. It's so weird because everyone thinks, Puerto Rico is a Caribbean island similar to like the Dominican Republic. It's just America Junior. So you go there and you're like, oh, little bodega, nice hole in the wall restaurant. You turn the corner, it's a Home Depot and a Walmart and, a Sam's Club just all there. So it's no different than any other big
more
city.
Puerto Ricans in a Home Depot. You can. You just got to go to Puerto Rico.
Are there white people standing out front?
Yeah, it's a reverse. It's called a negative image.
It's really weird because I was there in the wintertime, so there's a lot of old, just like white people from, the Midwest who have winter homes there.
Okay, yeah,
And but then they do the thing where they go into, it's like, hey guys, Feliz Navidad, everybody.
Stop that. Don't do that. Puerto Rico is the place on the earth that I've been the most.
Yeah.
And it is my...
Oh, it's great.
It's my favorite Caribbean destination of all time. And my dad I've told the story a bunch of times, my dad's best friend at the company he was the lifer at, Miguel, lived in San Juan. So we would go to San Juan and spend time there, and it is amazing. You're right. It is a big city.
I was reading when we did Puerto Rican Christmas, I was researching Christmas in Puerto Rico, and then somehow I landed on an article about they gave tax benefits if your primary residence was in Puerto Rico, like years ago. Like
Yeah.
the government's like, well, if you move to Puerto Rico, like as a way to try to incentivize like wealthy people moving down there and starting businesses. But essentially, like a bunch of rich people use it as a tax loophole.
Oh, yeah.
And just bought houses in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And then apparently there's a bunch of mega mansions that are like no one lives there. And they just have some residents.
I hate that anywhere.
And they're just trying to crack down on it now. And
I
there's
hate
like
those. Burn them all down.
thousands of
Eat
rich
the rich,
people.
Burn them all down. Burn them all down. Take them back.
But of course they did that. You look at it on paper, and some accountant's like, "Hey, I found a way I could save you $1 million a year," and the person's like, "All right."
And you don't have to do one of those international accounts or whatever. It's part of the U.S., so in their eyes, it's all up to board. You were talking about, in the Latin culture that it's Christmas Eve. That's typically the party night, and that's where
they
the
set off
families and
fireworks?
stuff.
Yeah.
So
and I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you listened to Puerto Rican Christmas, but I am now on Team Coquito.
see, still not a fan.
They
Still not a fan.
They changed me. Like when I had the good stuff that was like mega high octane. It serves a purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
different than eggnog.
Yeah.
Yeah, eggnog. No. But I am Team Coquito now.
It was cool there. So obviously every place closes down because it's the whole you're with your families or whatever. I wish they did this in the U.S. Christmas Day, so Christmas morning, that's when everyone opens their gifts. Places are still closed. By about like dinner time and on, every place opens up because it's one of those no one wants to spend time with your family anymore, so let's all just go out and party and get drunk. So all of the local bars, all of the local clubs were open, and they were happening on Christmas night. And it was a lot of, if you went out in the beachside towns, it's those, hole-in-the-wall bars where people would just show up with like, oh, someone brings a trombone, someone brings a trumpet, someone brings a drum, and they just random, playing music just as a whatever.
So like a drunken Christmas music jam? That sounds amazing.
It was great, and it was awesome because you
What
have
style of music? Every style of music? Like
Well,
is it rock and roll? Is
no,
it like
it was
traditional?
Primarily, the Latin music. I'm trying to think the reggaeton and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
but it was great because it's families that are still together, but they just don't want to be at the house anymore. So you have a mix of 20-some-year-olds that are all dressed up, trying to, look hot and everything. And then a couple of feet away from them are a bunch of memas and 60, 70-year-olds just, enjoying a scotch, hanging out. And then you'll have moms with their 3-year-old kids just running around, barefoot on the dance floor.
Because they just needed to get out.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a cool family environment. And it wasn't no one was bothering anyone, because if you were to go to a club like that and you saw a bunch of old people and a bunch of little kids running around, you would just think, oh, this is a crappy wedding I got invited to that,
but
I don't want to be there.
Other countries, older countries, we seem to be the only country that has a problem with children being near and adjacent to beer fest and bars. Every other country I see, the bar is almost like
They're
a place
you're
where
the parent. Make sure your kid doesn't drink.
Yeah. Other
Not up to
places,
us.
though, it seems like the bar, I'm using air quotes, is more like a town square or a meeting place that everybody can go to, including children, because we're not going there to get obliterated and die. We're going there to have a beer and see our friends. It's very more mature.
And it's a very welcoming environment. Not that it's not, elsewhere, but it's one of those, I'm sitting down at a high top because it was during the NFL football game. So they had the games on too. So there were some people
really
watching.
Great.
It was awesome. So I would get up from my high top to go to the bar to get a drink. As I'm walking, some Mima or some random lady is dancing, and she would just literally yank me out on the dance floor for 30 seconds of dancing, and then, okay, you're done. Go get your drink or whatever. And it was just one of those hey, let's have the community environment. I know that sounds like a nightmare to Tom, him going to the bar and then someone
and you're
pulling
alone
him out
too,
on the dance
right?
floor.
Are you with a?
I was with some friends there, but
good.
But it was one of those where, it's one of those, no matter what you did, if you just sat there watching football, or you decided to dance, or you had kids and you let them run around and goof around with them, everyone was having fun. And it was on Christmas night, and you don't find that here because every place is closed the entire evening, which is kind of a bummer.
From my experience, Hispanic people in general like to party more than the whites.
Better parties.
And they enjoy partying.
Better parties.
And enjoyment way more than the whites.
Merriment.
Yeah,
The term merriment.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I like that.
But if you go to a random Friday night and you have a cover band who's covering some Rush and some,
Rush? You had a Puerto Rican cover band playing Rush?
No,
That's a lie. I'll call
saying
BS on that right now. There was no Puerto Rican cover band playing YYZ.
No, I meant in terms of if you have the white counterparts. I meant the white people counterparts where you go to a redneck bar and they're playing some 80s
His
classic
next
music.
song is called Red Barchetta.
Those
Anyway,
are Rush jokes for nerds.
I would equate that the lady dancing by herself, wearing the all leather, trying to find any dude possible, is having just as much fun as a Latin Christmas.
So did you take any older Latin mommies back to the old pervert cave? And should take them? Should let them see the mayor's office, if you know what I mean?
So not older ones.
Okay, hey, don't say younger ones because that's creepy.
Is there a value in Puerto Rico? Because that's what I'm my new thing now
is value. You've been doing this for about a year.
Every place I go, everything is so expensive.
You give it a rating.
Yeah.
That I'm mad by it. I'm like, why? It shouldn't be this expensive.
Everything is crazy expensive.
So then now I'm looking at other countries because,
You thinking of moving?
not moving, just for vacations because you can get a lot more for your dollar in different places.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is just America Junior in the sense where it's no different than you vacationing out to, California or Texas or whatever, where it's just another American location. The only thing is it does cost a bit to get there because of airfare, albeit I went during Christmas time, so it was $350, $400 a round trip ticket. But if you're willing to cheap it up and go on Spirit or Frontier, you can get a round trip ticket to Puerto Rico for $100.
And is there island prices? Because that's any island you go to, everything is triple the cost,
not
groceries.
Really, it is a little bit more expensive, but thankfully they have their own infrastructure. Like, for example, it's pork crazy there, like pigs galore.
Oh,
so,
my daughter, that's her meat.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
Is,
So
that
if
is Maisie's meat. Anything pork.
Yeah, if you wanted like ribs or pork chops or roast pork or whatever, it's gonna be super cheap. But like a gallon of milk, okay, it's not gonna be like $7 for a gallon of milk, but if it's what $3.50 here, it might be like $4.50 there. So it's not gonna be too bad. The only weird part is they do use the metric system, which is odd. Because you would think, hey, you're part of America. Why are you using like liters and milliliters and stuff? I know that seems so like ignorant of me to say, but like when I rented a car there, and when you get gas, they sell gas by the liter, and I was like, I don't understand if this.
It does seem fancier though than gallons. Gallons seem sloppy. Like gallons is like gallons floppy. Like liter to me
and
is
all of their beverages are sold in milk. So like yes, I know we have 2 liters, but instead of getting like a 12-ounce can, you get like this weird skinny like 350 milliliter can. I'm like, I don't know if this is more or less beverage than what I'm normally getting.
Now,
so stupid.
I'm sure by now everybody's seen the skit, the Nate Bargatze skit on SNL about that. The fact that we have a whole different measurement than the entire world.
We're the holdouts.
and if you do look at it, our measurement system is more confusing than the rest of the world.
Like a lot of little tiny things that we don't even need to do.
But I'm mad that we didn't force Puerto Rico to adopt our measurement system, even though it's less efficient.
Maybe it was
and
the
not
deal
as
breaker.
good.
What if that was the deal breaker? They're like, look,
is,
we'll be here, but we're keeping the more logical units of
measure.
measure.
The American Army is protecting Puerto Rico. If
know.
anybody attacks them, we will obliterate them.
But they are cooler than us.
So we should force them to use our system of measurement.
I feel like naturally we gave that as a concession because Puerto Rico makes us a little cooler, right?
They use both, which is weird. So you're driving, and it will say this city is blank kilometers away, but it's miles per hour is the speed limit. So that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
We got them with miles per hour. That's how we start eking away at it.
Are you better? Is that a little better?
See, kilometers don't bother me because they're close enough to miles that I'm like, fine. But the liters, that's where I'm like, hold on, that's way different than a gallon.
Yeah.
And so I can't convert it, and then I get confused fast. Kilometers, I'm just like, kind of like a mile, just treat it like a mile.
Kind of like a mile.
4 liters to the gallon. That's all I learned there.
Okay.
All right.
Very good.
Which they love vodka, by the way. You would think it's a rum type of I mean, it is. They still have a lot of rum, but like anywhere you go, they always have different brands of vodka and vodka drinks and stuff. I don't know if it's one of those we're just so sick of rum.
Is that like a health thing?
I don't know.
At all? Like, I mean, because, I've never heard that. I haven't been in
they still have a lot of rum there, but at least on the western side of the island, they're really trying to push vodka and vodka-based drinks at you.
Interesting.
Yeah, because rum has always been a Caribbean type of drink, and then
if you're just picking...
Bacardi's based out of...
Bacardi is Don
Puerto
Q.
Rico,
Wait, Don Q, I think? Yeah, there's a lot of rum. And again, they still have a whole bunch, but I think the only thing I can think of is that these larger companies have vodka as part of their portfolio, and it could just be them trying to like push that selling and that sort of
rum.
Market.
If you're just being honest, like this is just my opinion, but like if you line up every spirit, like I'm probably, and you put nothing with it, just a little shoot or a rum, to me it is the better tasting just alone than most alcohols because it's straight sugar sweet.
Oh, it's got more sugar.
Yeah, and it tastes like a yummy, like it's got like a dessert kind of a flavor to it. Vodka might as well be gasoline.
Yeah.
Gin might as well be gasoline.
Yeah.
You know, like those are the ones you kind of want them to not taste like anything. But I've always kind of liked a rum. In fact, when I first started drinking and I wanted to be fancy and I didn't want to be a beer man, I was a Captain and Coke guy.
Yeah.
That was my first like real... And then I started like thinking I was like fancy, so I'd buy like Captain Morgan, right? At first you just buy rum. Then you work your way to Captain Morgan. And then they were putting out some like Captain Morgan Special Reserve. And that's where I stopped. Like I'm like, I'm fancy. I drink the special. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody does this.
I know we're running out of time, but I do want to talk about alcohol trends the next time we
Okay,
chat.
well, hold that thought because
right.
we are up. We got to get out of here.
So again, Kenny Samsel, the Two Moofs podcast. Find Two Moofs
TOOMOOFS
wherever podcasts are heard.
I'll cut that out. Don't worry.
Kenny, we'll talk to you next week. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Awesome. Let me save that.
Perfect.
Good job, guys.
Then we'll just do this for like a Monday 3.
That is Friday 2, right?
Friday 2, yes.
Oh, DeBerry Joe said, grew up accidentally sipping Pop's Captain Rum. Never had a taste for the stuff until I found Watlings in Nassau. I'm hooked on a good sipping rum. I have friends that are into like sipping rums.
Nice.
But some of them are like super heavy alcohol content.
And it's just so much sugar.
Yeah. It is. That's why it tastes yummy.
How long is this segment, just so I'm not going over?
This segment could be as long as we want.
as long as
great.
we want.
So we'll do as long.
Do you want to start?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We got the Solar Bears game this weekend and the tailgate before the game.
Yes.
I believe the tailgate starts around 4.
I think it is 4 to 5:30.
Yeah. And the game starts around 5:30. So that's going to be at Mo DeWitt's law office parking lot.
Yep.
You'll see the tent, and we got some beer, some White Claw, some food,
Yeah,
all free.
Nothing figured out yet, but we'll get it.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Just show up and
That's
hang
half
out.
the fun of showing up is just to see, like, will it actually be Bus Decker grilling hot dogs? Grilling the world-famous Bus Doggers? Who knows?
If he's not, I don't want to eat one.
See, I know.
And if you want to watch the game with us, the Solar Bears games are great.
They're so
bring your
fun.
whole family.
Yeah, it's a family event. Every time we talk about going to one of these, especially the bigger ones where everybody comes out to, I get tons of email from people that are like, well, can I bring my family? Is it good for kids?
Oh, yeah.
It is the best thing for kids.
Oh, yeah.
It is made, it's my favorite sporting event. It's the best priced, and you will have a great time.
And you can get our tickets in our section at tomandan.com. It's section 118, but you have to go through our link to be able to get the tickets in the Tom and Dan section.
Right at the top, there is a Gringos. You can start your evening with some chicken nachos like I do. There's also a bar. BDMs work at that bar right at the top of our section.
Yep.
It's a great time. Just go and check it out, and you can find that ticket link, tomandan.com.
Kenny Samsel's back. How you doing, Kenny?
Hey, there
You guys
he is.
kicked me out on a Friday. I had nothing to do all weekend.
Do I play the song? Do I?
There's a man named Kenny, he's the talk of the town. He's strutting around like he wears a crown, yeah. But don't be fooled by his fancy smile, 'cause Kenny's got a secret that'll make you proud. Kenny the Mayor of Pervert Town, yeah. He's always creeping when the sun goes down, yeah. Kenny the Mayor of Pervert Town, no, he's gotta go, gotta shut it down.
It's growing bigger. It's bigger this time. It's growing.
Dragon got me.
So what do you want to talk about, Kenny?
So we talked about it last Friday and about alcohol.
I'm sorry. I just I hate the AI now. I'm having the reverse effect. I'm going through all the emotions of like now when I hear this, I'm like, I hate them so much now.
So we talked last Friday about alcohol, especially weirdly in Puerto Rico, how they were pushing vodka, and it got me thinking about alcohol trends. And I don't know if you guys kind of remember this, but like the early 2000s was all about like the flavored vodkas. You know, it was all the wacky different flavors.
Pinnacle flavored vodka.
Then it actually.
You would get whipped cream, Pinnacle vodka, and then the tube tops would come down.
And then it started getting into.
You'd start doing the shots. You'd be wearing that. You'd wear Affliction shirt. You'd have on True Religion jeans that flare out like goofball.
Yeah.
And you got razzle pockets on your jeans that have like crosses with bedazzled jewels on them. You have pointy boots that you wear, and you're handed out shots of whipped cream pinnacle. Drop those tube tops.
I like it when where your quads are in your jeans are a different color.
Oh, yeah. Like they washed out, like you've been wiping your bleach hands on them.
Yep.
My jeans have bleach hands.
So it started going from that to like the flavored rums, like the Bacardi O and all that stuff. Then obviously the seltzer wave took over, and it was like every company had a seltzer. Now I'm starting to notice peanut butter whiskey is starting to become
that's old news.
Well, yeah, but Screwball is like taking it over because that is now starting to be everywhere.
Screwball is the big one that started the peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
Here's the hot take. Should we make a note? Not into it.
I
do
love it.
not want my whiskey to taste like what you put on your genitals to get your dog to lick. Not interested.
Why'd you go there?
I don't know. I don't know
peanut
where
butter
I go.
is a popular flavor.
I'm going to let you into a little secret. I don't know where I'm going. Anytime this thing opens, it's a journey.
Well, it started with Fireball. That became like the biggest thing is, cinnamon whiskey.
Oh,
And
I got a video of a girl on Reddit that puts a Fireball in a...
Come on.
But I'm starting to think that the next alcohol trend will start being these flavored whiskeys. And, because you're going to get your peanut butter, you're going to get, obviously, we have cinnamon already out there.
But that just means it's bad whiskey, right? Again, not to continue my hot take, but if you have to make your whiskey taste like peanut butter, that's a problem.
Well,
it should taste like...
It's what you're making it so that way college bros and sorority girls will drink a lot of it.
No, it's not bad. Have you had a shot of Screwball?
I have
It's
not.
great.
It's not bad, dude. I mean, it does taste like peanut butter.
I don't think I've ever had a peanut butter flavored alcohol at all. Like because I don't remember.
He likes serious alcohol.
No, not because
get to work.
No, it's not.
I
Not
want
because
the
I didn't
corn
want
mash.
it. It just it's never offered
Do
to
you want me to
I,
go get a little? I'll go get 2 little bottles of. Before we did this segment, we should have done that, like so we could taste it. But Screwball,
Yeah, we had an entire weekend.
I
guys.
don't like it. It's not for me. But I can't take a shot and say it's terrible. It's not terrible. It tastes like peanut butter.
All right, and I mean how
It tastes more like peanut butter than it does whiskey. Where as opposed to like Fireball, you could taste the whiskey as well as the cinnamon. Screwball, I found, just tastes like liquid peanut butter.
really.
Yeah.
I wonder if the peanut butter taste somehow masks the alcohol,
The whiskey
burn
flavor.
or
Oh, it
whiskey flavor.
definitely does.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why they chose peanut butter, because I was like, why peanut butter? But it must be because it masks it, and therefore, like you said, younger people will drink it because they're.
But can't we?
They're more sensitive to harder alcohol when you're young, right?
I need my whiskey
Yeah.
peanut butter flavored.
It's like why all teens start drinking some sort of
Boone's Farm.
Boone's, like whatever flavored fruit punch.
Yeah. Not me.
alcohol.
I started with gin.
I
First
remember
alcohol.
growing up in the 90s, you saw those Zima commercials, and it made Zima seem like the trendiest, coolest thing.
Yeah.
It
wasn't bad. Like, people hating on Zima.
Well,
Do you
okay.
even remember what it tastes like? It tastes like a Sprite.
Yeah, well, they brought it back like, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And
It
then
was a malt liquor too,
Yeah.
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
malt.
like all the seltzers.
like or
there's-
Smirnoff or whatever,
Yeah.
Smirnoff Ice.
100%.
But I had a Zima as an adult, and I tasted it, and I was like, oh, this is garbage. I don't remember it tasting like this when I was a kid, and I was like illegally drinking it.
Well, you know what? It was back when they didn't try to make it as low calorie as possible, because we're used to all the seltzers, and all the seltzers have no added sugar. So
Right.
that 100 calories of every seltzer is only alcohol calories. And then they add the flavoring, which is no calories. But
Yeah.
Zima added like sugar flavoring,
Yes.
and then when we drink it, it's like, oh god, it's too much sugar because we're not used to it.
This is really, and I've tried to explain this to people, but I don't think they understand what I'm saying. Again, I'm the oldest here, but this is the second seltzer boom that I've been a part of. The first seltzer boom had sugar in it. And let me explain. The first seltzers I remember as a kid were New York Seltzer Company, I think, or clearly Canadian, right?
Okay.
Non-alcoholic, but they were seltzers. They were flavored seltzer waters. Like, they had a ton of sugar in them.
Yeah.
They had cherry, strawberry, lime. Then you got your Bartles and James wine coolers. What's that?
Yeah.
Really no different than what Tom's saying. It's just whatever we're drinking now with tons of sugar in it because we didn't know. We didn't have technology. I don't know. But now, like the White Claws, the Trulies, the High Noons, all of that, I mean, to me, it's really no different. It's just they got a bit more health conscious and sucked all the sugar out of it. But it's the same stuff.
Yeah.
Clearly Canadian and New York seltzers
I
were
miss clearly Canadian.
the New York seltzer bottles were little stubbies and they were clear, and then they had it was a styrofoam. Remember when the wrap on the outside of a glass bottle? You may not, but it was styrofoam. It was like a piece of pressed styrofoam on the outside of the bottle, paper thin.
Yeah.
But it was styrofoam on the outside. It was New York seltzer. I'd get the raspberry one.
Okay.
Bright pink. You can't miss it. If you see the branding, like here, I'll pull it up so you guys can see.
Yeah, I mean, it's just now we know, like, and most people are going to try to stay away from as much sugar as possible. So they'll,
Yeah, there it
the
is.
only sugar we need is in the alcohol.
I think I did a pretty decent job of describing what that is. All right, here is the...
See, I didn't know that was styrofoam. I do remember.
Yeah, that the piece around the outside. Now, they
Yeah.
did change it to plastic, but the piece on that outside originally was like a piece of styrofoam, like flat styrofoam.
And I remember it would be the that metal screw top that would have the ridges on it that would cut you if you like accidentally, like grabbed it the wrong way because it was so sharp at the top.
Oh, yeah. You're exactly right. Somebody in the chat room saying you could pop the styrofoam wraps on the bottles. Yeah, you could.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they got rid of them, I mean, with most styrofoam. But yeah, those were the first ones I found, and I remember drinking those until I realized that there were like 31 grams of sugar in each bottle.
So with the vodka, we should have someone from White Claw come in and explain, like with all the vodka drinks, like your White Claw vodkas and your like High Noons and that, where it's not the same process as the malt liquor. It's vodka mixed drink, but I wonder what the brewing is. It they're just adding vodka to a seltzer?
They also have tequila ones, right?
Yeah. And so it's like, are they just adding the actual alcohol to the mixture, and then that's
a good
to
question.
me,
They probably are, and then carbonating it somehow.
Well, you guys were talking about there are some places where they don't have a liquor license, so they can't sell them. You know what I mean? Like they can only sell the malt beverage ones. They can't sell the ones that actually have vodka or anything in it.
Yeah, the hard seltzers are different than the vodka drinks.
Yeah.
Because
Sorry, you have like one tuft of hair, Tom, that looks like you have a feather in your cap.
Yeah, it does look a little weird. I thought you were going Native American again.
Yeah, it looks like you
updated test results.
like you found a feather on the sidewalk and you're like, I'll just stick this in my hair.
Listen, this is audio and some video, but it's mainly audio.
I let it go as long as possible. I think with Sam not here, she would have called it out right away. I tried to let it go. It was just too distracting.
She does like us looking good, combing our hairs.
So what else is going on, Kenny?
So I did this earlier this month. You know how I've been doing the drone racing league, and I've been dealing with those nerds.
Yeah.
That's going really well, though, because, like, from my perspective, as a person that just sees it being done and on TV, it does seem to be getting bigger. I see commercials for it now, especially if you're a gamer. You'll see them run commercials for it. Pretty cool.
So I actually worked the NBA 2K League draft. So just a little backstory. The NBA, like the actual National Basketball Association, decided to start a league for the NBA 2K video game franchise. And each NBA franchise got an option to have their own gaming league or gaming team. And it would literally be 5 people, and they would all live together, and then they would compete in these competitions virtually, and no different than any other league.
So wait, do we have an Orlando-based team that I can root for?
Yeah, Magic Gaming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll follow
And
them in River.
they all have their own logos. They all have their own everything, and it's 5 of them. And to make it fair, basically, you have a position, and your skill sets are fairly the same. Like, it's almost exactly the same in terms of the actual like video game characters. So it's truly based off of who's the better gamer, like who's actually has the skills behind the controller in order to succeed. So they've been doing it for a while now, and then every single year the teams essentially they sign them to contracts like players. Some people just decide to retire and they don't want to do it anymore, but you get paid for a salary to do it, and you have these leagues. So I worked the draft, and it was treated and it was streamed online just like a regular sports league draft, where people sitting on couches in the front rows, all dressed up like in everything.
Well, it's exactly the same. If they're playing a position and each character is, like, for parity, relatively the same, then the only thing making you better is your own physical skill at 2K.
I will fully admit it was the weirdest mix of like urban culture and Dungeons and Dragons culture.
yeah,
like
yeah.
all in the same room.
We were just talking about that yesterday. We were talking about blurs. We were talking about the amount of nerds that play, like the bigger dudes that play football, like.
Oh yeah, nerd athletes.
Like 70% of those guys are mega nerds.
But it was weird. So you'll have a 20-some-year-old dude. He's got like the sunglasses indoors, like bright pink, suit or whatever, and he's sitting next to his hot girlfriend, all dolled up. Literally on the couch next to him is like a morbidly obese dude with a scraggly beard and unkept hair, and he's wearing like an overly baggy pair of slacks and dress shirt that he got that morning, but they're competing against each other in this 2K league, and they're both like walking on stage, getting drafted, shaking the commissioner's hand,
cool.
like putting on the ball cap,
Yeah,
just
you
like
gotta put the
everything.
ball cap on.
Yeah, it was the total ordeal.
So they're drafting the people playing the game.
Yeah. Correct.
And 5 per team.
Correct. Now, some teams, they decide to keep all 5 of their players. Some of them, again, no different than any other sport. Some people retire. Some people are just like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, and they just don't do it.
Can you trade?
Yeah. They were trading draft picks. They were trading player. Like, it's a whole ordeal. So what they do to make it fair is each city basically houses them, and that's their full-time job is they practice gaming.
That's crazy.
And then it's once a week, once every couple weeks, they all fly together to this one compound, and they have like mini seasons and mini tournaments where they play a whole bunch of games. Full Sail, it was at Full Sail University. They hosted it this year, but like they have a compound. They fly up to New York or Jersey to their compounds. I know Mark Cuban is building an e-gaming compound, so they'll do all this, and they'll have champions and stuff and win everything. Like I said, it's in their 6th season.
That's nuts.
We need to talk to one of these gamers because I want to ask them, like,
do you have access to any of these guys? Perhaps could we talk to one of our Magic Gaming guys?
I could probably hook you up. And here's the thing: they're all called by their gamer tags, so that's not like Tom. With the first
Tom's
pick,
not gonna like
Tom
that.
It's
Dizzy Wolf. We're talking to Dizzy Wolf and Raspberry
yeah,
Pi.
no, and it would literally be like with the second pick of the 24 draft, Magic Gaming
is hot dogs yum.
Yeah, exactly. Magic Gaming select. Now here's the thing. They do have to screen the usernames to make sure they're nothing vulgar or whatever. Now, to become eligible...
With the first pick of the 2024 draft, at point guard, it's Let's Go Brandon 69 Cuddlinger.
Yeah, can't have that. So what they do is if you play NBA 2K, they have world rankings. And so basically the top 100, 200 get invited to a draft combine if they would like to participate in the league.
We're gonna have to talk to one of these guys because this is mega weird job.
Yeah,
because
weirdest job.
This is what I'm curious about. When you
don't show this to your sons, or you'll never get the iPad away from them.
When you're playing,
because it's a legitimate job.
NBA 2K. I'm curious to the strategy based on like the game versus real life. Like, does it emulate the real-life game enough where you are playing the game really close to how you would play in real life?
Yeah.
Or are they finding hacks in the game?
I think it's a little bit of both.
If I pass 3 times, I get a higher percentage chance of making a jumper because I've realized the algorithm in the game. It's like you start figuring out the actual proper way to play this particular game.
They do, and they know how to like anything that you would do in basketball. At least I know they do it in football.
Yeah,
because in Madden, I've noticed that there are guys that can read a defense like as good as any quarterback that would be playing in college right now, and they're just Madden guys, and they're like, I just know it from just repetition. But then there are also, with me, I'm good at like recognizing in video games patterns.
Yeah.
And I've noticed in certain levels of even playing Madden where, like, if I know that the offense caused an audible because they know I have my D set up, I can see it.
Yeah.
And I know exactly what to go to cheat the system to make sure that I suck.
But keep in mind, everyone knows that. So let's say you're trying to exploit the 3 passes to increase. They know that, so they're going to heavily guard the passes to the play. You know what I mean? Like they're going to know it. So
I was like, because what I'm thinking of is like, the only video games I can reference are back in the 90s.
Oh, no. Are you
the last time I played video
games?
games.
They're probably still popular.
The double dribble, like 3-pointer in the corner.
Double dribble is a good game. That was a solid game.
I was going to reference, I believe, NFL Blitz.
Nobody got any love for Arch Rivals? Any love for Arch Rivals?
Arch Rivals was good.
Arch Rivals was good.
And
the guys were too skinny.
And then in NFL Blitz, if you spun more than 3 times in a row, it was a guaranteed fumble.
Yeah,
because you were overdoing the spin.
You got greedy.
So they wrote it, so you knew that you could only spin a certain amount of times or you're going to guarantee fumble. That's what I'm saying. I understand that 30 years ago, they've made some adjustments and they can write more complicated games.
You need to come over and because have you seen the latest Madden, like what it does?
I've seen it on TikTok.
It's pretty, like, I know there are a lot of haters for it, but if you like football, it's really just pretty, like you sit down, you organize your cards for an old man. It's a fantastic game. I sit in there for $39 for a full year. I can calm my anxiety just by organizing my digital players.
But
it's amazing.
To answer your question, though, Tom, I mean, they are still treating it like it's a basketball game. So if you're a small forward, you still have to set picks and, be able to do that with your teammates. They have a coach. Like, they treat it just like any other league. Now, obviously, they're not getting paid the same, level as a LeBron or a Paolo Banchero or anything, but they're still making a decent enough salary. And technically, the season's only like half of a year, so they can spend the other half of the year doing whatever they want or go into other competitions and stuff.
Is there a person that's considered the best at this? The LeBron of gaming, and what is it about them that makes them good? Because
it switches too. Like I can only speak for Madden, but the coolest thing about this, and this is where you're getting the people. I know that you're getting kids that see this and they're like, well, this is what I have to do. I'm inspired.
Yeah.
Because you swipe screens right in Madden to see whatever game you want to play. If you're the champion, you get a full screen. It's you standing there with a belt. A full HD picture, like what your team looks like. They do a bio on you. Millions of people are seeing you. You're as recognizable as anybody else.
It's the hand-eye coordination. It's just the fact that because, in certain instances you have to hold the button down and release it, and other times you have to double tap it at the right time. And other, it's just also...
It's like a nuance,
right?
like
It's also...
a little gesture.
Yeah, predicting where, your opponent's ball's going to go and making sure you're there and hitting the button to get the steal, immediately. I think it's just the hand-eye coordination is what makes them better.
A great question from
and
EJ.
Autism, right? I was just saying, everybody who's the best at everything, either gaming or Rubik's Cube or whatever, is autistic.
I prefer
in some
to
way.
call it extreme focusing powers.
I'm just saying they can't, operate like the rest of us, and their brains are way advanced.
Like the Tetris kid that broke the game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, when I looked at that kid, no offense to that kid, and I think he's going to be very successful at what he does.
He's an autistic
He's
genius.
not a normal kid. He's that looks like a mega smart mega kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he's counting the toothpick.
Well, it was so my role was, I was
definitely game artist. Yeah.
I was the floor manager and stage manager. So a lot of they have hosts. They have a commentary desk, and then they have a reporter, who's doing all that. I was kind of managing that. It was weird because at least with the drone racing league, these pilots, they know they're going to get interviewed. They know they're going to, whatever. Not everyone there is going to get drafted. So because there was only a couple of rounds because, there aren't that many positions open. So I had to kind of chat with them and just kind of let them know what they're going to do, but almost had to keep it vague. You may not actually be doing this, but if you do, make sure you're going this way. You're putting on the hat. You're facing this camera. You're doing this handshake.
Well, that's good, though.
But it was weird, though, because there were some of the players that are just sitting there not getting picked. And it's just oh, this is awkward. And,
probably more awkward for you than them because you're applying... it may not even be registered.
Yeah, but they spent the time to fly to Orlando to be a part of it,
Was it
though.
free to fly there?
Some of them were. So basically, the people that they basically knew were going to get drafted were invited and paid for. And then there were some people that were like, hey, if you're in the top 100 and you feel like you're going to get drafted, you're more than welcome to come on your own dime. We'll have a ticket for you. We'll have a space for you, but you got to pay your way to be here.
What's the ratio girls to guys?
What do you think?
Well, no, let me say this.
I'll tell you what I think.
In the league itself, it's almost all guys. Now, if you're talking about...
That's what I thought.
If you're talking about in attendance, there were a lot of girls there.
Yeah.
And
ladies love those
it was
big
funny.
autistic hogs.
So you get the...
They're their moms.
You get well, no. So that's it. You get the draftees, and then
Handlers.
they'll be like with their super hot girlfriend, and then you'll have other draftees, and they're with their mom and dad. And it was just very
Both are
interesting.
good. Both are fine.
No, exactly. Yeah,
There's
both
a
are
place for
fine.
both.
But
The
it was
moms
just
and
kind
hot
of
girlfriends are fine.
It was just funny just to see like the dichotomy of it, and they treated it, just like any other draft. So they had like a bar area. They were serving mocktails, so that way no one got acted a
Oh,
fool.
well, that sucks.
But they actually had like a barber's chair, and then like people were getting fresh cuts and stuff, even the draftees, because that's the culture in the NBA is that they get these haircuts like all the time. You know what I mean?
That's
Like
appropriation.
a lot of teams.
I think you appropriated the haircut thing's a step too far for me.
Listen, a lot of teams travel with barbers to do that. So you know what I mean? Like they want to look good all the time.
Who do you think you are, Jay-Z?
I want to imagine they got like a traditional like NBA
I want a
barber
nerd with cornrows.
and then some big fat nerd is sitting there.
Some big neck beard sitting there. He's holding his prime, his gamer fuel. He's like, "Can you give me a high top fade?"
I shaved this nerd's pimples off.
Hey,
So one of the things is they had an activation
why
there
your face so red?
where you can get your photo taken and actually placed on a trading card. So they actually had like
Oh,
physical
God.
trading cards that they printed
World
out,
ugliest
put it
trading
in a
cards.
case, and
Oh God, put that in a.
gave
put
you
it
a
away.
rating
Put
of
that away.
99.
I mean, obviously, a lot of money in this.
Oh, yeah.
Are there sponsor? Who's
Oh, yeah.
paying
Oh,
for
dude,
it?
there's so many
Yeah.
sponsors.
Now,
There-
I understand the video game companies obviously have a huge stake
And
in
all
it,
the
but
third-party controller companies, and then all the software companies,
but-
then the
but you're like-
streaming companies, then you got the companies that make the overlays for streams.
there's like Mountain Dew, Code Red. like,
Gamer
no,
Fuel,
no,
yeah,
listen,
all of
there
that.
there's the stereotypical ones, and then
G Fuel.
there's other stuff like New Era hats. You know what I mean? Because it just any sort of athletic. Because a lot of the people that play 2K want to be athletes, they just don't have the skill set to make it to the NBA, so they gravitate towards it. So they still want to wear the gear. They still want to like be advertised the same things that you would see at an NBA game.
I'm just like Julio Jones.
And by the way, I'm making the joke of nerds, but these like Kenny was talking about, half of them are not nerds. Like every athlete in real life that is the best play games
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
play video games and grew up playing video
Just
games.
about every basketball player right now worth his weight
Yeah.
is a gamer of some sort. And congrats to, I think, Paulo just went up in 2K, breaking news.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he went up 2 points.
That's one
Paulo
of the things.
Banchero, like, who is arguably our best player.
We
And
never got that growing up, going back to the 90s and
this
2000s.
is the greatest thing ever,
Like,
that they're adjusting
yeah,
the players' ratings.
in
They do
real
it in Madden.
time.
I call
Like-
the hotline and I tell them. I tell him, like, hey, Bijan Conte's got better hands. He's a decent receiver. Bring him
Yeah,
up.
we're interviewing someone that is involved in this.
Yeah.
Too. I'm excited to talk to them. But I remember when Hard Knocks did the Jets this year, and I believe Sauce Gardner, their
Yeah.
DB, their like first round draft pick DB, was talking to Aaron Rodgers and was saying like, I used to play you in Madden growing up. You know what I'm saying? And now he's in Madden, and they're gonna both
It's
be
crazy.
in Madden next year. And that to me is the ultimate, like, blows my mind. How cool is that for a young Sauce Gardner? And there's been a lot of these cases of like NFL players that played with these,
Yep.
icons in sports,
Crazy.
and then you play, and then now you're playing with them in the game. Like, that's crazy.
The chat room is just straight dumping knowledge today. Kupo J says Lupe Fiasco, hip hop and rapper, was a top level Street Fighter player for a while.
Really?
I don't think we secretly know how many people I think if we really dialed down everybody that's playing video games, it's weird. I think it would get weird.
But I remember, like, Street Fighter, when I was a kid, like, there would be one nerd that figured out if you were E Honda and did the fast arms in the corner that you couldn't, and he would just go fast arms up and down. And then it was like, well, you can't even jump at you. I can't do nothing. I'm trying to Hadouken him, and nothing works because it was a glitch in the game that
I did love E Honda.
I'm just saying, like, then it's like, whoa. And then he's like, this is within the rules. And then it's
Did
like,
they change
well, we'll
his
be
name?
here forever.
Didn't they change his name because they thought it was racist or something? E
That
Honda?
was Mike Tyson's Punch Out. It was Piston Honda.
Piston Honda.
And then later games they changed it to like Piston Hondo or something.
well,
just
that's
to like
still, he's an Asian guy.
Yeah, and there is that one Asian in the world, the first name Pistons.
Yeah, I also don't think that Asian
That's a
people,
redneck
I also think
biker kid's name. Seriously. It's not an Asian name.
100% is a Florida biker name. But I don't believe that Asian people are offended by the last name Honda, which might be a last name, and is also, it's not like it's a bad company. They make really reliable and good. Yeah. So what is wrong with
and
that?
guess what? The person is Asian.
Yeah.
The Honda
I
is
own a Honda scooter. I'm very proud of the fact that the thing will run without oil. It's an unbreakable motorcycle. So why is that bad?
Yeah. It's not like you're going too far. I can't even say it, but like, a lot of
no, say it, Tom.
Like, if you did that, then it's like, okay.
Say it in front of the only Asian in this room. Come on, do it.
You're Asian? I thought you were Puerto Rican.
Oh, boy.
You didn't know Kenny was Asian?
I thought he was Puerto Rican. That's why he went to Puerto Rico.
No. Oh, my God. He went to Asia. We went to Puerto Rico to do all their taxes.
Wait. Your wife went to India. Was she Indian?
Listen, I can't tell what people are.
His wife went to India for boudoir photos.
That's true. So what was cool, so it started out with every NBA team having the option. So not every NBA team does have a 2K league. Well, now it's gotten to a point where there's a team in Australia, there's a team in Singapore, there's a team in Mexico City. So they've started expanding it to where it truly is a global ordeal doing this, because it started just as part of the NBA. But now it's expanded globally, so it's going to be one of the larger ones. Kind of like how you've seen Overwatch and Call of Duty and stuff. Yeah, they're making 2K a whole ordeal.
I'm gonna have to pick up 2K. I haven't yet because I haven't played. Okay, back when Shaq was here and in college, I on my Sega Genesis I would play the latest version of, was it NBA Live? Was that the game? Yeah.
NBA Live was the one that used to have a yearly thing before 2K took over.
Okay, yeah. So I used to be an NBA Live guy, and then somewhere, between becoming an adult and whatever, I abandoned it and never played again. But I used to play the basketball games.
Yeah.
So I think I am going to get, because I am following the Magic a lot. Boy, what a heartbreaker of a loss
last night.
That was terrible. My God.
Stupid DeJounte Murray.
Basketball's, I forgot how exciting basketball is. Very, very fun.
Oh, it's super exciting.
It's very fun.
There's so many games, though, that it's hard to, that one doesn't really matter.
But I'm so lucky. And I'm not bragging, but I'm very, very lucky. My family likes sports, and they want it on at all times. Yeah. So I'm very lucky in that, last night when the game was coming on, it was right around the time when Maisie's got to take her shower and everything, and we're like, let's all go up and watch the game in bed. It's like a dream come true. I just sit there, watch basketball.
If you're there live, only 2.5 hours. If you're watching on TV, just check out the last 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
True.
It's so easy.
The Magic are really good, man.
Oh, I love it.
Betting on basketball is fun. I bet on the basketball a handful of times when the Heat made the finals. And watching those games.
The worst, though, is, so a team's losing by 6, and, they're not going to win, but they have the ball, and the dude just, casually for no reason, let me just chuck up this three-pointer, even though it's not going to matter the win-loss, but he hits it, and the line was 4 points. And you just completely get screwed over.
Well, last night must have made some people sad, right? I don't know what the line was.
Well, it would have gone into overtime had it not. So it had a lot of other variables. But just the garbage, because, the players, they don't give a crap. They don't know it, about it. So they're just sitting there I'm just going to throw it. We lost the game, whatever. And it sinks, and there's people who have lost thousands because that idiot just decided to throw up a nonsense basket.
I think now more than ever, the players do know, and they do look at it. And even if they don't seek it out, someone tells them. You know what I'm saying?
No,
it's so big.
They probably do know. I'm talking about the guys dejected because they were up by 10.
No, I know.
They blew the lead, and
they're not thinking about the fact that if we make this half-court shot, it's going to screw a lot of people's overs or unders. I know that, but it was but going into the game now, players do know, and there was a NFL game last year, or do I say last year? This year's NFL, but where Sean McVay,
he went for two, or
kicked a field goal with no time left for no reason, and
people were like, "What the."
And it did cover the original spread. And if he didn't kick
did
that...
Did we talk about that? I don't think we did.
And then there was no other reason that anybody could even think of besides from covering the spread for the hometown bettors. And then, and everybody was fine with it. And it was this is,
did you hear his
interesting.
Hey, guys.
Did you hear his excuse? Because someone asked him about that, and his excuse was, I was just trying to give my players some practice. Like his whole ordeal.
Of course, or he's not going to be. He's going to say.
Yeah,
I know.
He's definitely going to lie.
But his use was, it's like, listen, my special teams, I needed to get them out there, get some warm-ups, get some practice in. So, it's no different than, kicking it during
well, I was like, you're a liar.
Yeah, I think that's a lie.
Oh, my God. To delve into sports a little bit.
Please, because we got a little bit. You got 8 minutes left.
So Mike Tomlin, they lost the football game, head coach of the Steelers.
I like Mike Tomlin.
Obviously he was upset. He was given a thing. The very last question.
I don't know if you guys knew this. Never had a losing season.
Yeah. Now he's had 500 seasons. So
you're
he's
talking about the number of times people say this.
So he's being interviewed, and a reporter goes up and goes, "You have 1 year left on your contract." And in the middle of the question, he just walks away.
I loved it.
He just walks away from the podium.
I asked Tom about that. I go, "That's a nothing, right?" He just was like I never thought. I'm Joe Average with football. I never looked at that and was like, "Oh yeah, he's not coming back to coach for Pittsburgh." I didn't look at that and think
I'm sure he's insulted by all the questions of
especially because they just lost too, So it's like, really, this is the question you're going to ask me about?
But he also knows the media he knows he's been around long enough to understand what people are talking about, and everybody's talking about like, should the Steelers keep going with Tomlin? He can't seem to get over the one playoff game hump or whatever.
He's absolutely horrible.
It's like
don't put him on the Falcons. Certainly don't do that. We wouldn't want him at all.
Everybody thought the Steelers were gonna go 3 wins. Like they thought they were gonna end up
He's an amazing
with a
coach.
possible first round pick.
I do appreciate the fact though that he didn't roll his eyes. He didn't go, whatever. He just stone-faced, stared forward, waiting for the question, and then just walked away.
He may have needed to masturbate and just needed to leave the state. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I'll just be in the middle of something, just like,
it was a female reporter that was asking him the question.
Okay, well, speaking of that, not necessarily a female
reporter.
reporter.
Do your What's Up with the Ladies segment? He's got this new segment he wants to do called What's Up with the Ladies.
I thought he was going to say, remember when Brett Favre sent those text messages?
So this is also, Dan Marino's 42.
Oh, yeah, Dan was very
You got a reporter pregnant.
Yeah, Joe Namath.
Old school. I like that. Anyway, so
fur coat.
there was some social media being spread around the internet of
that's how social media spread. Yes.
After the Tampa Bay game, a reporter asked Todd Bowles. I guess about the upcoming Lions game, or maybe it was just during a press conference or whatever.
Sure.
And then the
reporter
was like, it's negative 17 in Detroit right now. Like, how are the players going to acclimate to the temperature? Like Detroit plays indoors in a dome, and they just did it too. So they just played in their dome, and then now they're going to get a second home game, which is a story. And the reporter asked Todd Bowles, and Todd Bowles was cool about it. He's like, they play in a dome, so. No, he's like, we'll only be outside for 5 seconds between the bus and the.
If he said 5 seconds, he wasn't being cool. That was the passive aggressive. That's how you do it.
But so my question is, and Kenny, you've been around these press conferences. We have too, but I'm not sure if they pick and choose the reporters that can ask questions. But do they kick that reporter out in the future, or not let her ask any questions?
It's weird because back in the day, before there was a lot more internet, it was a lot more selective as to who gets media passes. But as more and more, pretty much anyone, as long as you could, you guys could probably get media passes to go to the games.
I'm gonna do that this year.
Yeah.
It's really
if you
easy.
have a big enough social media account.
Let me say this: if the coach truly was upset, the coach could just say, "I don't want that person at the press conference anymore," and what the coach says goes, and that person, can no longer do it. Now, if you ask a dumb question, they're not going to revoke it because people ask dumb questions. Even like the best of the best can sometimes ask really dumb questions. I think it's one of those, if you were to constantly do it, like every single time you're doing in the press conference, you're asking it, then
that's just Sarah.
Yeah,
then it becomes like a bit.
Yeah, then you're distracting from everything.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. You'll probably end up getting.
And I made the same mistake talking about the first game with LA, talking to my wife.
And I will to answer.
No, but you're not asking the coach of an NFL team.
I do my research. You're right.
Like, that's what I was frustrated about. I was like, as the reporter, you're there, you're asking Todd Bowles, the coach of the Buccaneers,
to do your research.
And I'm guessing you have maybe a top 2 or 3 questions if they go to you that you're going to ask. So you didn't bother to even research the fact that Detroit's in a dome, and
could have been a TASM Tursum, could have been a brain fart.
No, a lot of people do have brain farts because they probably did have the 2 questions, but then someone else asked maybe one of their questions. They're like, I got to come up with something else, and then they just spat out that. But you of all people should know.
Seriously.
No, that's true.
Unacceptable.
I like that you're fired.
But you of all people should know that people are for the most part, inherently incompetent at their jobs. So
we know that.
But
yeah.
if you're a sports reporter, I would assume that your passion is talking about and being around
true.
sports. And then if that's the case, I
is
don't understand how you
unacceptable.
make that mistake.
I agree with you, and it is unacceptable. But are you a one and done guy?
What do you mean?
I mean, based on what you're telling me, you're saying
one
I
mistake
mean,
and that's
normally
it.
you're not that guy. Normally you're pretty cool. So if you were Todd Bowles and you handled it this way, I mean, I understand that and I can't argue with you. You're right.
No.
She did not do her due diligence.
Yeah.
She did not do her research, and it was embarrassing, and you were unprepared, and it is unacceptable. Totally agreed. But are you a one and done? Are you like, I'm so sorry, that was your shot, and it's over.
But
now.
I really do. Obviously, if you're there covering the playoffs, you've probably covered the season.
No,
so...
maybe Tom's right. Maybe the problem with the world is we need more one and dones.
Well,
Yeah,
no, what
you're
I'm
outta
thinking-
here.
Yeah,
Get the hell outta
we don't
here.
do that anymore, though, do we? We
what-
give everybody a second chance. Maybe no more second
Yeah,
chances.
what I was thinking, though, if she's at a point where she's asking a question in the playoffs, she's probably asked somewhat decent questions throughout the regular season. So it's probably just like there's a little slip up here. But
Oh.
you're right. If that's just Sarah ends up asking dumbass questions every single week, then yeah, they're going to end up losing their media credential.
Can we talk about the Magic locker room and how I was in there with Drew Garabo?
Oh.
And we saw Dominique Wilkins. You know what?
Oh, yeah. When I was a
saw,
report,
we saw,
remember, you
I
said
saw
it-
Dominique
It was
Wilkins.
hanging out the bottom of the towel,
It
but
was.
Carrot Top had some
same.
he didn't
Same, but Carrot Top's turning into an old woman witch now. I saw that on the
Dude, I told you that
Yeah.
time I saw Carrot Top in a dress at the chocolate factory.
Okay, we gotta go to break. I can't. We gotta go to break. That never happened. Tom is lying.
No,
Melissa, do not clip this. That never happened.
no, it was
No,
like a
it did
chocolate
not. You
store
never
in
saw
Winter
Carrot
Park.
Top in a dress of chocolate.
the chocolate factory
No, you
is.
did not.
I did. I swear to God.
No, you did not.
I walked in the chocolate store on Park Ave.
It's called the Cheesecake Factory.
No. It was, I forgot what it's called.
Oh, are you talking Peter Brook?
I think
Peter
it's, yeah,
Brook.
yeah.
Peter Brook.
And I walked into Peter Brook, and then there's Carrot Top, and he has a dress
And he's
on.
like, oh.
And then it's fine. I mean, and
Yeah.
then, but then I
whatever you want.
factory.
But
No,
then
do
I-
whatever you want.
But yeah, then I was like, should I say hi to him? But then I was like, he was not going to
Maybe he
remember. He
doesn't
was like,
wanna be-
awkward. And then he was just talking on his
And
cell
you're
phone.
like, oh,
in a
excuse me,
full
Mrs.
dress.
Top.
Which I was like, and it was
I'd love to see how
but that was
confused-
years ago.
How confused Tom was.
I think he wears dresses now. I'm just saying.
No.
Well, someone
no.
posted that video in the BDM group
And he
where
was wearing a
like wearing a
dress.
crazy wig or whatever.
Yeah.
No,
or,
that
or he
is
dyed
no,
his
that
hair.
is not a wig. No,
Did he just dye his hair?
No, he just puts like streaks in it and stuff because
Oh,
he's
okay.
like it's like a bohemian look. You know, it's like like a what do you call that?
Yeah.
Like a Burning Man. You know, like a hippie, bracelets and.
I don't know.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
who dye their
Rainbows
hair
and-
are idiots.
I agree. No, you're. Are you
Weirdos.
gonna? What are you gonna do this year?
No,
Let's-
I'm trying to let it grow out. Normally, my hair grows. I'm blessed with awesome genes hair wise.
But you killed it with all your.
Well,
your
yeah. When I
monkey business.
colored it, all my hair is just like I'm gonna grow the slowest
Yeah.
possible, so you look like a moron not touching up your
Well,
hair.
you're done.
every
You're
single
dead
time.
now. Like that's the. I did that with my hair. I ruined it.
With the frosted tips, just straight up.
I did white, I did green, blue, any color you can think of. I did white with a black streak in the front, so I look like a villain. I did all kinds of crazy with my hair, and for a minute, my hair was like, "What are you doing, man?" And then I stopped, and now
I'm
I
gonna
just
reset it. So by the
Yeah.
time it grows back out and it's back to my normal hair, then I'll probably get another color again, and then just have Tom ask, "Why'd you do it, man?"
Where do you get your shirts, Kenny? Where, do you go to a store or you order them online?
Thrift shop.
Oh, thrift store.
Yeah,
shirts?
thrift stores.
Yeah, I've
I
been
mean-
getting some thrift.
And I know
store-
exactly the one you're talking about near Santiago's Bodega. It's fantastic, and I go there all the time.
Yeah, that's Andrea's buddy owns
Yeah.
it. That's more of a vintage shop because he's got some stuff in there that'll. I mean, if you want to spend $200
yeah, but-
on an original Alabama T-shirt from the 1982
But then you can-
World's Fair, you can do it.
You can get something like what I'm wearing now for like $8.
Yeah.
and it's fantastic.
Yeah, he's got good stuff.
I ordered jeans on Amazon last night.
Oh, what
Because
kind of jeans?
oh,
White
no.
jeans for the whiteout game?
I don't even know what type.
We don't even talk anymore.
I searched
Acid wash?
I searched comfortable regular jeans.
Hashtag Patriot.
I
then
hope
whatever-
there's an American flag on them.
Comfortable comfortable American-made Patriot
Regular. I don't need those pronoun jeans.
Yeah, I want them straight.
No,
I want them straight like an interstate. No flare,
No curves.
No, I
I
don't
don't know
want
how
them
to
tucked in it.
describe it.
I don't want any of them. I don't wear joggers.
But they're showing up today, and there's no way they're right? There's no.
Oh, I hope
there's no way they're good. Right?
Are they broken in or are they raw denim? I hope they're raw denim. You got to soak them in a tub.
I couldn't even see because I didn't have my glasses on when I ordered them. Who made them
my
or whatever? I
God.
just saw.
I hope you got like
Oh my
infant
God.
size. I
You
got
guys
like
have true
No.
religion woo hands.
I was able to zoom in on the size. I got the right size, but I don't know what.
You must have a smaller waist. Now, what are you rocking? Like a 28 waist now?
No.
30,
33.
33. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna get down. I was 32 in high school on my skinniest.
I got you.
So
I know women complain about like pant sizes being crazy, but I'll admit men's sizes, even though 32 should be a standard unit of measure because it is a number with that corresponds to inches, why is it that a size 32, 33, 34, 36 all fit differently when it's the exact same number that should work?
because every clothes manufacturer has
lazy.
their
Yeah.
fit.
But it
and
doesn't make
they're-
sense.
Yeah, I
32
know.
corresponds to the inches that like it should be a standard unit of measure.
Put that in your stand-up. Keep
What's
that out
up
of
with
our
these
show.
pant sizes?
Two Moves Podcast.
Yeah, man.
Yes, TOOMOOFS.
Anywhere podcasts are heard, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome, guys. Why isn't that stopping? All right. There we go. It is lunchtime.
I think you mentioned EJ had a question, and we totally whiffed
He
over it.
wanted to know. It is a good question.
I'll
He-
answer it on
He
Twitch right now.
wanted to know if the gamers are drug tested, because could you hack? Like, could you use Adderall? Could you use other
know, that's-
drugs to like
that's
amphetamines?
actually-
Could you
yeah.
amp yourself up to have more energy, be awake more, be more? I think it's a
Yeah.
good question.
That's actually not a bad question. I don't know the answer to that.
Can you
but
find out
I
for
could,
next
yeah,
time?
I could definitely see like them loading up on Adderall, like the Seattle Seahawks did. For
Well,
a
they're
while.
all on Adderall. They all got ADHD.
I think they do because
Of
isn't
course
that
they
kind
do.
of like they all drink gamer fuel, which is all caffeine? Like it's all
Yeah, yeah.
rooted in that.
Yeah.
There's an internet video talking about like cheaters in gaming, and there's like the big competition. It was for some shooting game, but the guy had like his cheat app running in the background, and the people saw it, so they walked over behind him to be like, "Hey, you need to minimize the game so we can see it." As they were reaching over to like touch his back, he's literally like swatting their hand away, like as if he could swat their hand away and close out of it. And it's like, oh no, you didn't see it. Like he was just trying to make it seem like no, that's you're
Shred Bear in the chat room says they use vibrators in their butts. So there you go. We'll end with that.
That was a poker.
Yeah,
There's some chess.
Yeah, that was
chess.
chess.
thing.
That was chess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I use it here for jokes. When Tom's like, "Be funny," he hits it a couple times. I'm like, "All right." That wakes me up. I'm like, "I'll think of something."
This is what happens when Sam's not here.
Guys, we'll see you after lunch.